Happy Thursday, Paul Hadley Middle School. It is Thursday, April 23rd, 2020, and here is your daily video announcement. A couple of reminders. Number one, do your attendance quiz so that you get marked present and not absent. Remember, I'm going through every day and I'm updating the attendance. So if your attendance is not what you think it should be, make sure you go back into Skyward, you check it, because I'm routinely checking it to make sure that it is completely up to date. Today in your assignments, you are going to be doing a writing assignment. It's going to be a short writing assignment. It's going to be based on the same kinds of things that you saw take place in the Hearts and Hands short story by O. Henry. One of the things that you saw in that short story was the use of situational irony. Today, you are going to be doing a writing assignment that uses verbal irony. Verbal irony is a really fun use of irony. It's the kind of irony that a lot of you use in your daily conversation. I use it to a certain degree. Sometimes it's called sarcasm, although sarcasm typically is used as a put down. Verbal irony tends to be used as just a way to insert humor into an otherwise non-humorous situation. So your assignment is to do a writing assignment, to write a little short story. You're going to write a scene from a short story that has two characters talking back and forth. This should be a quick write. This is not something that is going to go through the whole writing process, so therefore it's a quick write, or a quick type rather, because you're not really writing it, you're typing it. But this is going to be a quick writing assignment that is going to just show that you can use verbal irony in some sort of situation. Now, what do you need to know? So the writing assignment, you're going to write a scene from a short story, one that you make up, that has two characters talking back and forth. This is called dialogue. Since it is a scene, you need to include setting details and background information in order for the scene to make sense to anybody who would just pick up your story and want to read it for pleasure. Your audience is me. I'm going to be the one picking this up, and it has to make sense for me to read it. You need to show characters using verbal irony. Now, what is that? Well, it's saying the opposite of what the character actually means in order to be somewhat funny. Each time a new person speaks, you need to hit enter and start a new paragraph using quotation marks around the words that are coming out of the characters' mouths. That's how you appropriately write dialogue. If you don't understand totally what I'm talking about, open up any piece, any narrative, and just look at how characters talk back and forth. It needs to be punctuated and formatted in that same way. In your short story, you need to show 3 examples of verbal irony. That means a character must say the opposite of what he or she means in order to have some sort of comedic or funny effect, just kind of to create a joke within the dialogue. It doesn't have to be one character using it 3 different times. It could be both characters in an exchange saying the opposite of what they mean to be funny. So it can be both characters just for a total of 3 within your whole script. So what are the requirements? Well, it's a minimum of 1.5 pages, 1.5 pages long. That's going to be the minimum. You need to have a minimum of 2 characters, because I want dialogue going back and forth between the 2 characters. It needs to be done in MLA format, because everything you do for a language arts class should be done in MLA format. You need to have a minimum of 3 examples of verbal irony, and I want you to highlight those examples of verbal irony. So you need to get out the highlighter tool in Google Docs or in the text box entry. You need to highlight those, or maybe you want to underline them, or maybe you want to put them in bold, but you need to make those stand out so that I can see that you can correctly identify what verbal irony is within your own writing. And then, like always, you need to have correct spelling, grammar, punctuation. Specifically, we're going to be looking at the punctuation here, because when you write dialogue, you have to have quotation marks at the beginning and at the end. End punctuation goes inside the quotation marks when you do dialogue. Make sure you do that correctly. If you have questions, please email me or message me through Canvas. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow.